Number 1 Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What is going on, everybody? Oh my God, look at that. We made it to another Friday, which is a good thing. Not because it's Friday, not because we made it, but because we conquered the week, because we hopefully had a good time, and all of us are here gathered yet again to talk about another fantastic creator. And that's why it's awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's going to be a good night. I'm very excited for the conversation. I hope everybody in the chat is excited for the conversation as well. And what do you say? What do you say? We say hello to the chat. And oh boy, people are coming in now. Hey, there you go. So over here, we have A.S. Bruner. What's going on? C.A. Pence. How are you doing? James Craig. What up? He's just listening tonight. He's not going to watch. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Massive Panda. How are you? Evelyn Music. What's going on? Timo Burnham. Oxen W. 10 cages down there as well. We have Catherine Pritchard. Boy, but Pritchard, does that name sounds familiar. Is that the Mrs. Good Sir?
It is.
There you go. Well, welcome, Catherine. Hopefully I don't scare you off. And it's okay. It's okay. We will be gentle with your husband. It's fine. It's fine. Brian McCoppin, how are you doing? Periopsis Press. Katie, what's going on? And I'm going to shout this out really quickly. Katie has put together a fantastic book club with myself, TJ Marquis, and John A. Douglas. We talked about Dan the Destructor last night. We simul-streamed it on like 57 and a half different channels. It was amazing. Great conversation. Katie, thank you for that. And thank you for forcing me to read. Swift Sword Rush, what's going on? Redoubt Productions, how are you? Alpha Proto. Oh, got it, jumped. Alpha Proto. What is up? Andrew Campbell, Mr. Mindflyer, Talking Pulp Press. Hey, that's interesting. We talked about that guy's book last night.
I recognize that one.
I recognize that guy. Liu, how are you doing? Stormcrow, he says, what's up? Wiggas. I gotta be very careful how I say that. Oh, but I love the what's up. That takes me back. Oh, that takes me back. Too many decades ago. Too many decades ago. And over on the Rumble side, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. We are also live on Rumble, and I love seeing everybody over on Rumble.
The best place.
Yeah, well, people say things over there. But yes, Chatsu is over on Rumble, and Chatsu reminds me, he says, remember to double dip so you can smack the butt while pounding the plussy. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate the plussy word. It's so, I understand why I get the internet at this point. I've been on the internet long enough. But ladies and gentlemen, yes, do me a favor. Be like Nemo, everybody. Why Nemo? Because I love that freaking movie and my nieces and nephews made me watch it way too much. Be like Nemo and do me a favor. Touch that butt. The button. The butt. The like button. Yeah, that one. Touch that like button. The like button. And be like Nemo, because that helps us, whether you're watching on Rumble or you're watching on YouTube. Touching that like button or the plus button definitely helps the stream out, and it is one of the freest ways. And by free, I don't mean, what our government doesn't want us to be. I mean free as in you don't have to pay money to do it. It's one of the freest ways you can support the channel. But yes, and especially over on Rumble, hitting the plus button on Rumble actually ranks the channel up, can put us on the homepage of Rumble. It's really, really awesome. And with more and more people going over to Rumble,
does something.
it really does. What a concept. What a concept.
Amazing.
Amazing. Tim Allen just jumped down in the chat. It is awesome to see you down there, sir. He took a little bit of a break for a while from being here, but Tim Allen is down there as well. Raise the meat horn, hoist the axes. Yes, absolutely. Oh man, it's gonna be a good night, ladies and gentlemen. I am very, very excited for tonight. But without any further ado, it is time to introduce a man who is so overworked. His peasants are overworked and dying. He can't replace them, so he has to pick up their slack. You see, when a peasant dies, this man does not sit back in his throne and wait. He yells at them, tells them, "Why aren't you working?" And then just picks up their slack and does the work. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the man, the myth, the absolute legend who decided to make Anvil, the Iron Age magazine, King Richard of IronAge.media. How are you doing, good sir?
Your intros get more and more ridiculous every week.
I try. I really do try.
Oh, I know. I appreciate it in a strange way. No, it's been good. It's been one of those weeks where I've been calling the printer because I got the proof on Monday. The proof had problems, one of which was due to an error on my part. The other problems due to errors on their part, which were fixable. But it's just kind of been one of those experiences where I'm like, yeah, I am kicking myself for not getting it to the printer earlier because they are stretching the limits of their delivery times, shall we say?
Oh no!
So,
I'm
going to be putting out an update. Yeah, I'm going to be putting out an update on Sunday about everything. I think that we are still, all domestic should still get out in July, or people should get them in July. But
that's cool.
It's just one of these things.
I'm gonna do a review and I'm gonna roast you just because I can.
Yeah, it's a little bit not the way I wanted to have it go, but hey, we've learned. I think the second issue is going to be much more streamlined for the production side of things, so we should be able to get caught up. There's some exciting stuff going on with some additional plans that I've got going for maybe a special edition of Anvil next year, and maybe even two. And then the other thing I was going to say is that the Dragon Awards are going on, and there's been some rumblings about people being upset that somebody who isn't a leftist has put together a list of non-leftist authors. So that might be something if you guys want to try and go vote for people in the Dragon Awards.
Yes. I need that link. No, that link absolutely needs to be in.
I'll find it and we'll get it later. But and we can talk about it next week as well. But I just kind of wanted to put that whole
next week's
series of shenanigans up.
Shenanigans.
That's fun.
Up to put it on people's radar. So when we talk about it next week, it won't be a total surprise.
Yes. Awesome. Well, I am glad that things are slowly but surely getting worked out. God, I know you've gone through hell with all of this.
It's not really. I wouldn't say that. I just sort of.
Frustration. You've gone through frustrations.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a learning curve. I knew it was going to be a learning curve, but it was a steeper learning curve than I was prepared for mentally, and anyway, it's done. It's there, and now it's all that's over is the waiting for the printer and then packing the 500 or so packages. So fortunately, that is in a lot of ways the easy part because it's just packing stuff, and I can do it myself. And
there you go.
I'll just zone in. I'm sure I'm going to mail somebody the wrong thing, and I'm going to screw up. But I'm already prepared. I've already mentally prepared myself for that. So,
oh, dude, I'm gonna raise hell just because I can. Just because I can.
Yeah, you gotta.
This isn't what I ordered.
I think the tape on this package is a little.
I'm going to intentionally send you the wrong thing. Just
oh my god, that would be hilarious. Oh, please do. Oh, that would be hilarious. Oh my god.
Thought at one point of flying out to hang out with Richard just so we could beat the crap out of your package before we sent it out. and video it.
I already have
it's like, hey guys,
office
just have the video ready and be like, well, I'm gonna do my review today, and then you guys just post that video. Be like, you sons of
just Office Space beat the crap out of it in the corner.
No,
dude.
I already have a special. I have a very particular plan that we're gonna do for Voice's copy of Anvil. It's gonna get some special treatment.
Oh no, I don't know if I like the sound of that.
You probably won't.
No, probably. Speaking of special treatment, that's right. We're going to talk about the man who is going to special treat that idea that you have in your brain that you can't quite get out onto the page. Why can't you do it? Because it's not being special treated by this man, so you need him to do it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The guy who will help you bring your stories to fruition, put them on the page, and then get them out to the masses. That is the man, the myth, the legend, who will sink in the seat of power and hopefully halfway through the stream have two hands above him in the seat of power after several glasses of whiskey. That's right, it's Mr. Daniel P. Riley. How are you doing this weekend, sir?
I actively try to sit up now.
I know. It's annoying. I can't even meme it anymore.
I know. My whole project to 3D print a ruler mount and everything else that I had to give up on. Now I don't feel so bad about giving up on it because
you can go buy a sticky ruler and just.
It's not that hard. But he didn't want to stick anything on it, so it had to set. It had to set. And anyway,
then you get a wire coat hanger. It's not that hard.
How dare you,
Daniel? How have you been this weekend, sir?
I'm going to spend the whole live stream Greta Thunberging you today. I'm doing well. I am exhausted from working on a million projects this week, but doing great. The next set of pages for the GCI comic are getting worked on as we speak. I've already got the first 5 plus that test page, so 6, which means by the end of this month, hopefully I'll have 11. I decided I'm going to do 2 chapters comics, so it's just going to be 6 comic books for the first book run. 6 floppies, 24 pages each book. And a couple of special things will be added on for the crowdfund versions for the back it. I'll have some additions going in each of the comics as they come out.
There you go.
Just for that. Oh. And next week, I should have some merch to show you guys.
Yeah.
The cigar
merch
is going to be
both
a merch show and us just faffing about.
I am going to have to figure out how to. I'm not even going to be here most of the week next week. But yes, next week is the cigar stream and also the 1 year to the day anniversary of my ISOM video that blew up the channel. So that's going to be a fun stream. Open invite to any and all past guests of the channel, of Iron Age Nights, I should say. So if you've been on Iron Age Nights, if you've been on one of the 38 episodes of Iron Age Nights, you will have an open invite to come into the channel, and you'll get an invite. We'll come in. It's going to be a round table, drinking cigars, no topic, just hilarity to ensue, and we'll probably judge the hell out of my ISOM video that I did over a year ago. I don't know. It's the anniversary of it, and I'm really proud of that video. That launched me into this world, and so I'm like, what better way than for literally everybody here to just make fun of it?
We'll watch it. We'll MST3K it. It'll be a blast.
It'll be a blast. There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, It is time to introduce our guest, who is completely over the top, exuberant, absolutely love his personality. I love him in the chat. I love how he's been excited to be here all week. I love the fact that he is a musician, and we're going to get into that. I love the fact that he is also writing as well and looking to create creations for you guys to put into your brains to inspire you to write things. And that is Mr. AC Pritchard. What's going on, Andy? How are you doing, good sir?
Doing great. Happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolutely. So let's do this really quick. I'm going to ask you the first question. And the first question is somewhat scripted. It's actually the only scripted question that I have, but it's a really good first question. And I love this question. And hopefully you guys, I don't know, did Rumble crash? I don't know. Did Rumble crash? I don't know. Oh, good Lord. Probably. I don't know. Well, it depends on how much traffic they're getting. They've been getting, like, there was like 3,000 people on Friday Night Tights over there earlier. So that's nuts. But as always, I love to ask this. So Andy, you're getting into writing. You've been in music. You're in the creative space. You're working on creating new things for people to enjoy. What got you to this stage in, I guess, the Iron Age today? Where did this all start? Were you younger? Were you older? How did you get to this place where you're trying to create and show new fantastic ideas to people?
Well, as far as the Iron Age goes, I got straight up algorithmed into it.
There you go.
YouTube and Twitter and everything. Didn't really know it was like a thing until, like I started regularly following people like Eric July and, the typical names. Something about a guy talking about making millions of dollars in comics. And, he used to be from the metal scene like me. Like I even knew like who his band was and stuff. But when I found him, I didn't realize that's who it was. I thought it was just some dude named Eric July. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
But I recently realized that, everything that the Iron Age is, just like indie creators and whatnot. Like I realized I've been kind of a part of indie for over a decade. I got over a decade of experience in that, only taking a break recently, a couple of years before the pandemic. So realizing that recently has kind of reignited everything, and I'm getting back in it. I've been writing my whole life. So having like a community is amazing. So
I don't disagree. So you've been writing your whole life. Where did that start?
In high school. Maybe even middle school, actually. Just typical nerd stuff. You got your video games, your movies and stuff. But if I remember right, there was like the one thing that actually made me start writing. I think there was this online text-based game that me and my high school friends just like played, went back and forth. One of those really early games you log into every day and attack somebody or purchase some resources or something. You know what I mean? It was all text-based. And I remember just wanting to keep playing that when I got home from school and stuff. And that just turned into just like starting to write stories and stuff, So that led into like taking English more seriously and creative writing more seriously. And, led to me walking across the street in my small town from my high school to the newspaper and, asking them how to become a movie reviewer. And the caveat was I had to report on the sports at my high school.
There you go.
Like, that's a steep bargain, man. But I'll take it. $5 an article. Fun.
That's cool.
Free movies though. Yeah.
That's awesome. What was the first movie that you remember?
I can't say I remember the first, but I remember one day I went in there with my press pass and I saw Step Up to the Streets.
Oh God. Oh, that was a far cry from the first movie.
And and then and then right after walked to the theater right across the aisle and saw Nim's Island, and I believe that had Gerard Butler in it right after he was King Leonidas. So he goes from King Leonidas to being like I don't know, like a gushy father. You know what I mean? It's like a B movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel that Gerard Butler does his best work in action flicks, and like Hollywood doesn't utilize him for action flicks enough.
He's damn good.
I mean, Gamer, great movie. I really loved Olympus Has Fallen. That was just a good movie. A classic, like homage to like Die Hard and things like that. Gerard Butler it needs to be in more action. Well, maybe not now. I don't know. He's getting kind of old now, but but no, that's super cool.
Old wizard roles for him pretty soon, but
right.
What was that movie that he did where it was like a vengeance story, and he just like brutally like gets these guys back? Well, and I think it's like warranted too because they like took out his family or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, oh my God, it's got I think it's got
about?
Jamie Foxx in it. It's got it's oh God, what is that? But he was
Chat, help me out.
He was chat, help us out. So it's it's Gerard Butler. He's in this movie that's got Jamie Foxx as the cop. They find out that this guy was like the movie is not Gladiator. They find out that this guy is I have it upstairs. My wife and I love this movie. Where he does he was the guy that came out, Law-Abiding Citizen. Thank you. Law-Abiding Citizen. Yeah. That movie is incredible. He was one of those guys that worked for, he was like ex-CIA or ex-NSA or something like that. And then he would design all the little gadgets. They're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, once they had to figure out how to kill this guy from far away. So he made like a tie clip that basically what it did is it had motors in it and it like strangled the guy with the tie clip and nobody knew who it was. I was like, oh my, such a great movie, dude. Law-Abiding. Oh my God. I forget how good that movie is.
Mm-hmm. And there's like a big, long, horrible torture scene in it and stuff too. But
if
I remember right, it wasn't like. If I remember right, it was like a torture scene, of course. But like, it wasn't like super horror. It wasn't like Saw, if I remember right. But it torture porn.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty bad. Well, and like the only way to beat the guy is Jamie Foxx had to blow up the prison and bury the guy under it, like because he was that smart. And it was like, and what was funny is, Law-Abiding Citizen wasn't about Gerard Butler. It was about Jamie Foxx. And so that little play there, very, very well done movie. Loved that movie. Oh my God.
Unique, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Oh, we could diatribe on that forever, but let's get back to you, good sir.
Movies in general. Yeah. Movies in general, we could shoot the shit about all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So sounds like you got started before really in your writing style doing articles. How do you go from that to music, especially metal?
Well, it's interesting. My dad actually, right before I graduated high school, he got me my first guitar and stuff and gave me some pointers. And I just remember growing up watching my dad play on his acoustic and stuff, just thinking he's just the best musician of all time, you know what I mean? And he was to me. He always will be. But I go and graduate high school with a guitar and this motivation to get really good at it, to, impress my father. And that led to finding a local band and stuff. So I guess in a way I kind of just like left actual writing behind. But the universe is interesting and has a way of like coming back around on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it turns out one day when we were messing around in our practice space with a mic, we're each just like rotating instruments essentially. The mic got to me, and I guess I didn't even know this at the time, and I was just messing around just like the rest of them. But they were after we were done, they were like, "Oh, well, Andy's kind of got some pipes," and I remember I came on as like the bassist, and they heard me scream when we were just messing around. And from there, I became the vocalist, and that led back into writing.
Awesome.
So,
that's really cool. We used to have a joke because we used to give our bass player a lot of crap in high school, as all bass players get. Like you've been in the band, you know how, but you elevated to lead singer, so we used to give him like a lot of crap. It's like and he made a t-shirt in high school because we used to always say, no, the mini fridge in the practice space is more valuable than the bass player in the practice space. So he made a shirt, and it's just this blotched out black like mini fridge, and it's like mini fridge is greater than bassist.
Oh no.
We were harsh, dude. No, and so going from writing articles to writing songs, because I always wrote songs, I always wrote music. I did a couple of short stories in high school and stuff like that, but I'm always really like, I really like the short version of stories, like getting to the meat of it and all that. But going from writing articles and reviews for movies and stuff to writing lyrics, what's that like? Natural, not natural? Did you feel like you ever ran on too long? It was too short? Did the stanza style? Because I always feel like, stanzas are more how songs written. Did that mess with you? How is that transition?
It's a different, more informal language that can be interpreted with greater depth, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Consider haikus.
Mm-hmm.
How much can you say with as few words as possible, right? Like the shortest stories on earth. Like what's my favorite is the shortest horror story. The Last Man on Earth is alone in his house, and then there's a knock at the door. Boom. A lot with a little. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a different language. Language. And I found it actually quite challenging because something about prose and just imagining a movie in your head and just trying to describe it on what you're seeing versus come up with like technically correct mathematical and rhythmic rhyming, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, it's more informal, but it's more formal in some ways, like syllables.
Yeah,
I can say as many, I could use as many syllables as I want in a sentence in my novel, but it just won't work in a song. It just straight up won't work.
Yeah.
You have to follow a pentameter, don't you?
I'm pretty self-taught with a lot of that stuff, so
we don't big words here, Daniel.
It's when it's when a sentence runs on. I guess essentially, it's when a sentence runs on a set of beats. So it's often used in poetry, but I heard that it transfers to writing song lyrics.
Oh yeah. If your poetry has tempo, it's already a song, in my opinion. Like. What you just need a beat behind it, or like
it's essentially your syllables run in a dit sort of format that follows whatever beat or whatever flow structure, if you're using poetry as an example.
So I guess to go back on what I said about the informal thing, I hope everybody understands. Like I didn't like. You can see how it can be both because poetry is quite free form, but as Daniel's bringing up, and there's math and there's like things that need to line up, so it's like it's different.
Well, what's interesting about writing music too? I don't know if you did this. I had a bad habit of because I'm a vocalist, so.
Vocalist, eh?
Yeah, but I have a bad habit of I loved coming in the offbeat, but I wouldn't, because you get the one and I wrote songs where I wouldn't come in on the one and I'd come in on the so the one and I would come in there and it threw my guitarist off and he's like, what the I'm like, no. It starts here, finish it, and he's like, okay. And he did it, and he was like, how does your brain work like that? I'm like, I don't know. It just that's what naturally comes out. And so that's what's so interesting about like writing music is that you get to cheat the rules a lot. and you
Yeah.
get to do this natural feeling that some things like poetry and reviews don't allow you to do. Did you experience that going from reviews to lyrics?
Well, at first there was a little bit of a learning curve. Like I had to sit down with myself and really like understand how all this worked, and that sometimes that just involves listening to like the same instrumental track over and over and over and over.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Until something just appears. But eventually, I found the muse and it started clicking. And, it's just like now I can listen to an instrumental track, which instrumental music has become like my favorite. Oh man, it's so nice to write to a good instrumental track.
Yes.
But I can tell it's good. I can tell it's good when it gets really rhythmic, and then I feel stuff start to move around in my head. Words start to like I can start feeling syllables like start to like kind of bounce around. Yeah, that means I just listen to it a few more times, and then I'll have a verse, and it's just a matter of time. So good stuff.
Okay. So you would listen to the music and write to it?
Yeah. There is one song I could point to in my discography where we started with my lyrics. That was a really interesting song to write, and I would have totally gotten behind writing like that going forward. But I found just in my whole life with collaborating with people that it's best to just trust your friends and your teammates, and to just like let them create, and then like offer your criticism, and then you work as a team after, right?
Yeah.
So like tattoo artists, for example, I'm not about to go into a shop and be like, you need to put this exact thing on me and it better look like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, I would rather go into a shop, find somebody I like, sit down with the guy or lady and say, hey, I have this idea, perhaps in this style. Can you draw something up for me? And, you know what I mean? And then when I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, whatever they deliver on the other end, it's going to be like, it'll blow your mind. You know what I mean? And you didn't even expect it. So I prefer to do that with
all my artists.
But, yeah. Oh, I'm so weird. I realize I do things the wrong way.
No, Royce. The creation process.
Well, man, there were some things I had this rhythm or this melody, and I'd play it and I'd write. Most of the time, I would have an idea, like a lyrical idea, and I'd like call my guitarist and I'm like, hey. So here's the lyrics. Here's just like, it's like 2 lines. And I'm like, I need you to, I feel like sometimes like, hey, I need you to learn Santana this weekend. And he's like, what? I'm like, no, just learn Santana. And then I'm going to like, I'll make sure like I, have just a really bad recording of this thing, and then we'll work on it, Yeah. And so I do that, or call him. I'm like, hey, I need an AC/DC style. And he's like, all right, cool. Or I'm like, hey, I need you to mishmash like 3 Doors Down crossed with like something else. And like, I was that guy because I had it in my head. Yeah. But my idea was kind of based off of all this stuff. But then I call, like my drummers, like I didn't know how to drum. And I'm like, okay, I know the sound in my head that I hear. And I know when your hands are over here, that's the sound I hear. And he's like, when I hit the floor toms, I'm like, yeah, sure, the floor toms. I don't know what you call them, but I know that when you hit these things on this side of your body, that's the sound I need to hear. And that's but like, flavor it yourself, make it do your own thing. I can tell you the sounds I want to hear and when I want to hear them, but I want to hear you through it. And that's how I used to work with my band. And so it was in
you want me to walk you through? Okay, so when Andy had an idea, it was you're sitting there doing whatever, and then Andy comes in to come chill, and he's like, I was just thinking, I had this breakdown in my head, it's like jigga-dan, 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 jigga-dan. You know what I'm saying? And then the drums are all like, and it's like, and they're like, yeah, I can kind of hear that. And then they pick up the guitar and kind of like play something completely different, even though I can acknowledge that it sounds like that. And
there you go.
Just like, no, that's not quite right. It's more like jigga-dan, jigga-dan, jigga-dan. You know what I mean? Instead of like scales and stuff.
I've totally been there. I've totally been there.
We get through it.
Dude, writing, musical writing and connecting all that stuff is so different than any sort of like the musical process legitimately is the closest thing to throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks.
And I think all creative endeavors are that way.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what? I won't speak to the other ones, but I will trust you on that, man.
And on your note, on what you said about how songs would start and stuff, like you call up your buddies and be like, "Oh, I need something like crossed with this and stuff. I have this idea." You know, every single great thing just starts with an idea, like Daniel said, like everything. And it's like that one song that got created, I was like, I have the rhythm to all these vocals, and then one day me and my drummer just got together and did it, and then there's another song that's like what I just kind of described. I was like, I got this breakdown, da 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 da, that turned into a song. And like even a good story, it's like, you know, what if a bounty hunter got hired to go do a mission, and at the end of the mission, after he slaughtered all these bad guys, you know, he finds out it's a baby.
Oh God!
Right? Yeah, the Mandalorian. Right?
Oh God!
You know, there's just like story seeds. There's idea seeds that exist out there. So.
Oh yeah, happens all the time.
Yeah.
That came from me watching an anime that had absolutely nothing to do with its premise.
Amazing. Yeah. You get that, and that's why it's important to consume.
I think I was doing dishes, and in between episodes, the intro music started for, I think it was season 2. It's the second OVA for Rise of the Shield Hero. When I was watching that, and I just started listening to the song. I just started seeing a scene. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting, which happens to me all the time. And it's
called mushrooms, Daniel.
Developed from there. No, it's not.
Why aren't you sharing?
I know, right? Because he's greedy.
This is my only illicit substance. Thank you very much.
That we know about. Mushroom Team.
that all stopped when I was like 19. Thank you very much.
Well, the important thing is that you did it. You visited. That's sometimes all somebody needs. I think. Have you guys? Well, this is a whole different subject, but you've heard the.
Hey, I told you before we started. It's your show, man. Let's go. I'm down. Let's do it.
You've heard the theory of the Stone Ape theory, right? The evolution of humanity, like that we gained our sentience by eating some mushrooms off of some poop.
I have heard that, but I have not heard all of it. It's a theory.
Yeah,
yes.
I can't remember who it was.
It's honestly, it's probably not a bad theory.
It sounds like one of those theories that comes
somebody.
from making a sandwich that's got peanut butter and cheese on it after you've had a weekend.
Yeah,
dude. That's probably
sandwich.
One of those theories that led me to realize that Reese's Pieces and movie theater popcorn in the same bite are delicious.
That's a super chat for 420 sort of theory.
Oh, dude, it totally makes sense though, man. Oh God, that's great. Oh God, the chat right now.
Yes,
I gotta check now.
the Kikomon has already started on the dad jokes. We will definitely get to those later. He's got some killer ones.
I welcome the Kikomon.
We'll have to do the Kiko outro.
Yeah, we will do the Kiko outro tonight for sure.
Apparently, John A. Douglas shot Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, man! Congrats.
Well done.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So, wow.
Make sure you mount the head on the wall with like a.
Send it to my wife. She'll get it all cleaned up. She loves that stuff. Okay, Catherine Pritchard. Potato chips in sandwiches are delicious. I agree. I absolutely agree. But you ever tried fries on a burger? It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
I don't like fries on a burger. No. Potato chips on a sandwich, yes. Fries on a burger. You would think it's this. No, it's not. It's.
What about really crispy fries that are salty?
Ooh, maybe. Depends on the burger.
one of my
it does.
burnout buddies back in the day came up with what he considered to be the ultimate munchie food, which was a sandwich comprised of peanut butter, saltine crackers, and American cheese.
With the bread? With the bread?
Yep, with bread.
Oh,
Bread.
oh my
Well,
god!
he wanted that crunch and that texture,
Yep.
that creaminess. I
Not
could
with the
see it,
cheese.
I know.
not-
I was like,
yeah.
I stood in his kitchen, high as hell, staring
Yeah.
at him like, what are you
All right.
doing?
My snack as a kid, you take Triscuits. You guys remember Triscuits? You remember them things, the wheat cracker
Yeah.
thing? Triscuits, paste picante salsa,
Ooh.
and a little chunk of American Craft singles. Make a bunch of those, pop them in the microwave, heat them up for about 30 seconds.
Oh man.
Delicious.
I
would
would
probably
like a whole bag of pepperonis if I got a hold of it.
Oh, dude.
So
That's
you know,
healthy. That's
yeah,
healthy,
it's great for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that the little crunchy fun packet at the end.
Oh. Yeah.
That's where you get the nutrients. I think.
Oh,
We're all
God.
It's we're all
That thing
Oh.
that very clearly says "do not eat."
Oh man.
Well,
That's fine.
You know, that's just what the globalist wants you to think. You know.
Yeah. Once you get past the grittiness and
Yeah.
Just a packet of MSG. people.
Gums might bleed just a bit,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
just the nutrients being absorbed directly through your gums is what I heard. So
yeah, it makes you smarter. Makes
Mm.
you smarter. Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Oh, God. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. Oh,
Dear, everybody is putting their absurd,
Absurd munchies.
terrible
yeah.
recommendations in the.
Yeah.
No, the
Banana, peanut butter, whipped cream, and a quick strawberry sprinkle on top. Okay, I don't even like whipped cream, but I would eat that. That's not
that's
bad.
just
Oh, yeah.
that's
I
just
mean, TJ had me
You know,
with banana
fruity
and peanut butter, but
Yeah.
lost me
Sugar.
with the whipped cream and quick strawberry.
I don't even like whipped cream. Fries with a Frosty. Oh, yeah. Extra salty fries in a Wendy's chocolate Frosty. You
Oh,
guys ever
yeah.
done? Oh,
Yeah, my
Oh.
wife is a big fan of that one.
Oh,
I'm
that's-
surprised she's not the one who said it actually.
dude, that's a delicacy. That's
Danny Diego's taking us all the way back to kindergarten with Elmer's glue.
Oh boy.
Oh, you did?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh, God. Oh, what? Oh, man. Chili cheese fries. Yes.
I saw Andrew Campbell talk about the what is it, like the meat witch, like the reverse like the KFC like 2 fried chicken
Oh, yeah,
breasts
the
with
chicken
like a piece
breast
of
is-
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but Arby's for a long time, I don't know if they still have it, but for a long time they had this thing called the Meat Mountain.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you could get, it was basically every kind of meat in the store and they'd put some
Yes.
on there. And it was
Mhm.
like, it was $10, but I would get it in college and it would be like 3 meals.
It's
So-
tough.
So good, though. So good, though.
Allegedly,
I don't know if
they
good is
have
the first
meats.
word that comes to mind, but it was
It's Arby's. It's
Okay,
not
I was saying it was
good.
so food, though.
it was
Yeah.
very food.
Yeah.
Arby's at the time was like cafeteria lunch meat.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. It still kind of is. You know,
Mm.
they try to hide it, but if we
Oh,
want to talk about fast food, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever had a McGangbang, but you
Oh,
go to
yeah.
McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Go there with like $3. Get
Yep.
like you know,
It's- I-
McDouble and McChicken.
Yep.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
and it's different in different parts of the country. They call it like in different parts of the country. Like it's different. Like I've heard it called the McGangbang. I've heard it called the McRedneck. I've heard it called a bunch of different things. But it's you go and you get a McDouble and you get a spicy. We had the spicy McChicken, so you get the spicy
Even
McChicken,
better.
throw it. Oh yeah. Oh
Even better. Yeah.
oh yeah.
McDonald's
Culture.
is
Culture.
trash.
Huh?
McDonald's is trash.
It is.
I'm not.
Yeah,
we're,
but,
we're,
you know,
yeah.
They
You
you
know.
know, sometimes.
I said that on Twitter once, and they actually responded.
I'm sure.
What
We have
else are
some
you gonna
happy
do?
little bot.
It was hilarious.
God, that's
No,
hilarious.
it was somebody. They're like, "We're sorry," and I'm like,
Go away.
This is awkward.
Get out of my
What are you
Twitter
doing here?
thread.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Why are you here?
Hey,
Dude,
you
that's
guys, do you know if the Napa bot is still on Twitter?
I have no idea.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Wasn't that the one that lost its mind?
No. I think that was like an early AI. I'm talking
yeah.
about the somebody made a bot account, and it was just called Napa, like from DBZ, like from
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
okay.
Z.
Okay.
And whenever anybody in the world said the word over 9,000, like back to back,
Okay.
That's
he would jump
great.
in and he'd be like, "What 9,000?" So you could set up some pretty cool stuff with that.
That's hilarious.
I haven't tested it out yet, but I'm
That's
hoping
hilarious.
Napa's still around because it was fun.
Who are you gonna call? Ghost Napa. Sorry, that's a Team Force reference.
Oh.
So
Oh.
before I like divert further into Dragon Ball or something else, your new book, like let's hear a little bit about that
Yes.
before we hit the 9 o'clock mark or the 1 hour mark. Let's take a look at it. Hold it up there. Give Royce a second. He's not always the quickest on getting the full screen.
I'm trying to share the link at the same time.
He went.
There we
he
go.
went double up. He's got it standing on the desk.
Oh,
and he's got
very
one in his
nice.
I
hand.
know. That's how you shill, good sir.
There we go.
That's how it's done.
You're making
Yeah,
me
I'm
look
pretty-
bad, Andy. Knock it off.
I'm not making anybody look bad.
Dude, a fly in the room flying around the camera makes you look bad. A fly shills better than you do.
It does.
Well, I just had these proofs lying around, and leading up to the show today, I'm just getting excited, and
My only shill.
and I saw these proofs laying around, and I just propped them up before the show. Figured it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yes, well done.
All right. And Andy, I got to do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do you. Wait, that phrasing. I'm gonna do it like I do on Wednesday
on
nights,
now,
ladies and gentlemen. Over here on Amazon.com, we've got Mortal Descent by AC Pritchard. That's right. You can get the hardcover for $19.84 or the paperback for $12.15. You can also read it on Kindle Unlimited. But I always strongly recommend get the physical versions. That's right, guys. To get this fantastic book from AC Pritchard, it's only for the hardcover $19.84 to finish, or it's $12.15 to finish for the paperback. So I am dude. So
That hardcover pricing is sus.
I know it sucks. It sucks. Amazon, and they just raised their prices too before I jumped in. So
Oh, really?
it sucks.
I was just making a crack at 1984. Don't mind me.
Yeah, you caught that. All right, 12/15 is my wife's birthday. So,
Ah,
yeah, gotta. Oh, and 8 is my favorite number. So
there you go.
whenever you're unsure, just like pick something, right? So
so tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, let's hear about the story.
well, okay. There's actually 3 stories. It's a collection of short stories. Actually,
Okay.
inspired by the prompts from Iron Age Media.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome!
Yeah.
I did not
Oh,
realize
sir, you
that.
don't have to talk to him like that. His head's already big enough.
Yeah.
It's mostly beard.
It is mostly beard. There's no
It
chin
goes
under
up
there.
into
It's,
yeah.
yeah, it's just beard. It's weird.
Well, what
You'll never
really-
see me with a
what
shaved
really-
head either.
I think you'd pull off the shaved head. I think you'd pull off the
I don't think it'd
especially
be
with, like-
possible. If he tried to shave his head, his beard would just grow over it.
It's true.
Oh, even better. Even better. Yeah.
A
yeah.
disturbing visual.
Beard power.
I need,
Feed the beard.
I need double beard on. You got a beard down.
Conquer the raised territory.
No, and then of course like the crown of laurel leaves. with, like, beard. Yeah.
This is
just like
this
noble.
so anyway, tell me about your book.
Welcome to my world, Richard. Welcome to my world.
Well,
This is going to result in some kind of cursed image. I can already tell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hope so. God, I hope so.
Yeah, you know what to do.
yeah, put it everywhere. Billboard,
Oh God.
the side of a van on the Iron Age van. You
The
know,
Iron Age van. That's just the Iron Age windowless van. That's what I need.
No.
Yeah.
it's not Richard. It's not official until you have the creepy van.
A
You
creepy
need to fill it
van.
with
Yeah.
comic books.
Okay.
No, not the creepy van. You need one of those like 1980s vans with the airbrushed, fanciful thing of like Richard in a full king robe with a scepter riding.
Those
on
are
a
the
black-
creepy vans. Once
riding on
you
a
get in
black
there,
unicorn with a
Yeah.
no
go to the Renaissance Fair. And,
Oh.
6-string or something.
No, and here's the best part. You commission Iron Age artists to come out and paint it.
there you go.
That'd
This
be
is
great.
this is yet another project that I have on the the fire here.
Why isn't it done already? Are you waiting for the artist to finish too?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna blame the
sorry.
artist here.
The truth is,
Quickly
been
realizing-
outfitting the van with weapons this whole time.
Yep.
You know,
Yes,
Knights, portable knights.
a conversion van. I'd love to,
dude. I actually on the conversion van note, been wanting.
Martin's rocket launcher off the top.
Yeah.
I've wanted a conversion van that's like decked out for your dude. They put brand new PlayStations, brand new Xboxes, and like 47-inch TVs, captain's chairs, automatic bench seats. It's like lays down. They're great. I want one.
There's a
real.
front grill that flips out with spikes.
I'm so down. Let's do it.
So I was the dude in my bands that got the van. Like,
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, we had this big. It was from the '90s. I want to say '95. I can't remember what kind of van it was, but it was like a big conversion van. That families would pile in the '90s and go across the country. And
My grandpa had one.
we
Yep.
gutted the back, and so it was just all empty space, just enough for the band and just all of our gear and stuff. And we named it Shelob. Got it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay. We keep diverting. God, I love conversations like this. They're so fun. We went with Double Beard Richard. We're on conversion vans. This is chaos. I love it. God, I feed off of
We
this.
even got the McGangbangs in there, man.
We did get the McGangbang in there. Oh, dude, I want to like home make a McGangbang now. Like a homemade, like fresh bread, like all that. Been watching a lot of channels lately to because I'm building like a barbecue smoker, and I'm like, I want to cook all of the things like fresh, and my wife is all about, dude, I want a fresh made McGangbang. Oh, it sounds so good.
Hey, Royce, you ever watch Binging with Babish on YouTube?
I have not.
Oh, you should check that out after the stream or something.
Sick.
You're gonna lose your mind. It's
Dude.
it's this dude who I believe it just started off. The dude just like lived in his like studio apartment or something, and he just started like taking like just ingredients, like just cheap stuff that you'd find around your house, and just making gourmet stuff with it. And it just exploded from there. Dude's like a millionaire now, I'm sure.
I've been watching a channel lately. I mean, it's a couple 100,000 subscribers, but it's a barbecue channel because the guy builds his own smoker. So I've been trying to learn because I'm building my own smoker. Came across this channel, love it. It's called Chud's Barbecue, and he take CHUDS and builds his own smoker, sells them. That's his business now. But he'll take like cheap like chunks of meat that you as a consumer can buy and turns them into just masterful recipes. He'll show you how to make really easy homemade breads, to make homemade, like it's awesome, dude. And that's right. Like we were sitting there talking about it, like doing like, he's like, yeah, if you want like the fast food taste, like style, like onions, you get that night, like the McDonald's onions. There's just a flavor to the fast food style chopped up. He's like, yeah, you take the onions, you chop them up, you dehydrate them, and put them away. And then when you want that flavor again, you put them in some water, rehydrate them, and you get that same flavor, but it's all fresh that you like grew yourself or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
Dude, I love stuff like, oh man, I'm so, we must be hungry tonight, gentlemen. Sir, tell us about your story. Stop talking about food.
All right. So, when I rejoined Twitter, I think it was in February. That was shortly after I finished my novel. Like, I stayed relatively unplugged for the whole year I worked on my novel, after my son was born. And, when that's done, you start thinking, what's next? What do I do from here? And it really came down to the question of, do I shop my novel with like, do I look for an agent and do trad, or do I go indie, right? And that led me back to Twitter, which I don't know what happened. I think I just typed in a few names from like my YouTube, and then clicked follow all a few times. That's a new feature that wasn't there when I was on Twitter.
Right.
And like I said, algorithmed right into where I belong, honestly. And it wasn't long until I saw like Iron Age Media, and started checking that out, looking at what all the amazing projects everybody is doing. Holy crap, the art. I cannot stress enough how amazing it is to see all this stuff that just exists right beneath the surface of everything. Like for those who have eyes to see it, and like, it's not even all like out there yet. It's just like much of it is in the crowdfunding phase still. And it's just good in like a year or two, it's going to be really crazy. It's going to be really crazy once all this stuff actually drops and people like, get little breaks of success, but then also get backed into a corner and have to get innovative. You know what I mean? This is a melting pot of creativity and ambition, and it's just amazing. So it dropped me in here, and I found Iron Age, and I saw the weekly prompts, and I was like, this is actually something I could do to get my name out there a little bit, just to get people to know who I am. And then at least they know I have like a novel on the way, right? That was my rationalization to it. So I went ahead and I poured a bunch of, I tend to go all in on everything I write and do, honestly. So when I saw that, I believe it was the annexation prompt. That's what it was. I saw that picture, and I remember, I knew it was, I could tell it was like AI generated, but it looked so real at the same time. And I was just like, this is a great idea. He's generating his images, and encouraging creators to create with them. And I'm like, this is just a good idea. Like, I can get my name out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that, I know AI art is controversial, but I think as a kaleidoscope type bit of inspiration, throw things together, mix it around. I'm glad that it, has been beneficial to people, to a certain degree.
It really has, man. And like, as far as the controversy goes, is it controversial to encourage humans to create? One person generates images to encourage possibly hundreds of people to create, right? And I think that's really beautiful, honestly. I think the controversy comes into play when you get human beings, like always, that get their hands on something and want to start taking advantage of other human beings and use this as like an unfair advantage, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where you get like the AI writers and the AI artists.
Yeah, or just dishonesty.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest factors with all of it is, if people are not, honest about what they're doing and everything else. And, one of my sort of responses to some of the criticisms of AI art is that a lot of this like unethical behavior existed before AI art. It's just that it's the unethical behavior is more accessible than it was before.
May I make a somewhat controversial but statement, but I know you guys will agree with me.
Yeah.
It's sadly, it's the same thing as people blaming guns for violence when that stuff happens. Bad things it's the same because they're blaming they're blaming a technology when people are using it and mishandling it. Like you said, the bad behavior was there before the AI art. The bad behavior was there before Photoshop. The bad behavior was there before counterfeit art. Like, and people like to blame all this stuff. They don't blame the people; they blame the thing, and it's just weird.
Right.
Well,
and
it's to steel man the argument against it, right, is that like it was developed you would say, you could argue against this. It was programmed, it was created without the yeah, I know, right? The
Yes.
consent of the artist. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, in most cases, it was because people don't read terms of service. Now, were the terms of service ethical? Are those really binding? I think there's a strong argument against that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that there is some difference because um, in a lot of cases, not all of the systems, but I mean, even like Midjourney, which is what I use primarily because it's um, easier to
Yeah.
use, frankly. But
Yeah.
that's a black box, and it's pretty obvious that they haven't been fully ethical about how they sourced things. So
Yeah.
I'm not. I understand people's opposition to it, and
Yeah.
honestly, I've been
As do I.
trying to look at ways to transition away from Midjourney and into something more like Stable Diffusion, where I can feed it, a public repository of 100,000 pieces of art, and that are all public. There's no ethical concerns about using them, and then say, listen, guys, this is the best I can do. But I don't know. It's just hasn't been. It's on the long list of things I need to do. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And like humans invented the calculator, and we still do math.
Oh yeah, and
There's
well, I mean,
all
I
kinds of
think there's
stuff
always
like
going
that.
to be a demand for artists. You know what I mean? And to me,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, the AI art thing has made it such that I think a lot of people appreciate, um, like I don't want to say they appreciate art more, but I think there's more awareness about art. There's more interest in quality art,
Yeah.
and there's concerns. I understand why artists are concerned, but man, the technology just keeps on rolling, and
Yeah.
at a certain point in time, you go, where do we stop, and can we stop? So
Well, and there's also something to be said. Okay, so you mentioned transitioning out of it. Like, boom, there you go. That's a big thing. So imagine if like everybody banded together and rejected it altogether, and it just wasn't a thing anymore. Well, now there's like countless people who could have used that as a place to start. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
now they're just kind of left in the wings. Um, there's something to be said about using it for developmental work too. Like, let's say you're not an artist, but you're working with really professional dudes, and you don't want to just send them stick figures, right?
Mhm.
So you just generate a few things, and you're like, look, this isn't it. I want you to do your own thing, but this is like an AI Civil War soldier or whatever, or whatever you
Mhm.
want whatever you want to hand them. There's something to be said about that, and like especially like for authors that are just starting out, to be able to start off with AI art and then make money off of the book, then take that money, pay for a book cover, release a new edition of said book, and then now it doesn't have AI art anymore, and they have an income revenue that they can use to pay for the next book cover, or even better, let's say an author just like was just pumping out book after book because they're really prolific, and each one has AI art, right? Um, they could take all that money and directly pay artists to make comics from that, and that's so
Yeah,
much more support.
I am never one to tell people how they need to use their money. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Um, I I think that there are, the thing that I always warn about is that, um, if there's one thing the internet loves, it's a hate mob. You know what I mean? So you always want to be careful that you aren't invoking the mob. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or if you are, that you're doing it on purpose, and you're
yeah,
prepared to troll back or whatever. But
yeah,
there anyway. I don't want to like debate the whole minutia of all of that, but
right, right,
this obviously this novel, or the novel. So you have book one of the series, right? And it's a collection
yeah,
of short stories and poetry, correct? Or
yeah.
three
3 short stories and
Yeah.
1 epic poem. Yeah.
Okay. So, like how long? Like about how long is this overall?
99 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Each short story
what?
is
That'd
a
probably
minimum of
be
8,000 words. So
yeah. So I was gonna say you're probably in the the 30,000 word range, somewhere in that zone, maybe.
it's
Um,
not quite 30, but it's getting there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been working on this. Are they all in the same? I was gonna say I skimmed this before, but they are related, or are they each kind of in a separate um, fantasy realm? Are they how interconnected are these?
So they all take place within the same world as my novel.
Okay,
'Cause-
I kind of thought that was the case, but then I was
Yeah.
not sure if you were like focusing in on one particular short story and then you know what I mean, some of the other ones. So this is
all right.
a established universe that you've kind of built up. You've built up lore and everything else. This is a taste for it, and
Yes.
your
Yeah.
novel is still in work. What's the timeline on the novel, do you think?
The novel is fully complete. It just needs
Okay.
to be edited.
Ah.
I should probably I should probably go through and give it a good pass over before I send it to my editor, who I'm happy to announce I've talked to Daniel as for future work. He
Awesome.
he won me over on the Luke Stone stream. I was like, that was a pretty good stream for me. I out of all of them I've watched, I was like, this one's speaking to me. This one's speaking to me, and I took it as a sign. So I got to keep moving forward. So.
Always.
Awesome. So I was gonna say to tell us about this world, and like it's fantasy from what I gather based on the blurb, but tell us a little bit about it.
Well,
what should
my
we
whole
expect?
idea for it. It's like I have a few rules for my world to start off with, and it's never going to stop kind of forming, because that's like the idea of like what I made. I wanted something where I could put everything in, like I can just make another story and I can put it in this world, right? With these rules I've built for myself, and it's like the world is as old as I need it to be, so it's impossibly ancient. It's an ancient world that has ended multiple times, many times, countless times. Great civilizations have risen up, almost probably made it to the stars in some cases. Probably not in the rest of the cases. Stories like the Tower of Babel come to mind. The Younger Dryas.
Yes.
Event. Yes. All of that. The dinosaur extinction. Any way you can think of that has happened in this world. The world has ended in that way. Now, I really like realism. So I try to like take inspiration from the real world and from history, and really try to like apply that in a sense, because like I feel like that makes it a lot easier to immerse yourself when it feels. I mean, it's going to feel real if you're inspired by real stuff. You know what I mean? So that being said, it's as old as it used to be.
Familiarity is a writer's best tool.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
I mean,
it can be like an artist's best tool, a musician's best tool as well. In fact, musicians really rely on familiarity. If something's too strange, but it's good, but too strange, it's too strange.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah,
Yep.
we talked about that.
Oh yeah.
This is good, but it's strange. It's different. So.
Yup.
Yeah. So the world is extremely old. It's Earth-like. It's essentially just Earth tilted 90 degrees. And when I imagine that in my head, it winds up being half frozen because of that, like because of where the poles end up and stuff. And I just imagine this half frozen Earth that's super old, and I can just have all my stories in it. It's a sandbox. And the first one that popped up was my novel, and these other three came out of it just from everything I built up and hammering away at that anvil. You know what I mean?
Had
Awesome.
a boy.
Yeah. It's kind of a low magic world, in a sense, in a way.
Mhm.
That's a little spoilery for me to explain. I mean, I could, but I almost want people. Well, like the magic is tied to objects, right? It's not like
okay.
you're born. Yeah, you're not born a mutant or a wizard.
Mhm.
You're tilling a field one day, and you find the one ring, and it just looks like a ring, and then you put it on and you turn invisible. But you probably don't turn invisible right away because there's also special rules to the magic too. Like you got to power this object, for example, and there's a way to do that. There's multiple.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
complex magic systems. Like simple but complex. I like it.
but remember my realism. I like the realism. So yeah,
All right,
complicated, but like it should make sense at the end.
Am I gonna do math trying to figure out your magic system?
No,
just sitting here just with like the corkboard. No, and it connects this way, and like I just
no. For example, the in the free sample on Amazon, the free sample is the first story following Queen Votisa. She's a dragonborn. Just as a layman's term for those who are familiar with D&D or like Skyrim, like an Argonian, a reptilian queen who her magical object is this golden neckband that she wears, like this thick gold neckband. She wears like a choker, like a Celtic choker, and she can use her voice and control plants. And just because of some of the nature of how the magic works, she can also shoot freaking lightning bolts out of her mouth with her voice. So cool stuff there.
Very interesting.
That's one thing that kind of ties all these stories together too, is like the magic, the world, like the fantasy races with it, creatures, and like most of all the symbolism. Like I am just totally obsessed with symbolism.
Symbolism.
I will pack each line like with some stuff that you can just,
symbology.
Numerology, symbology, astrology.
So what's the symbology of this? Word
Dude, sorry, we've gone full Boondock Saints. I apologize. That was my bad.
Oh God.
I love that movie. Sorry.
There's a successor to the throne.
I haven't watched that movie in so long.
I can still quote it, and I haven't seen it in so long. God, I've watched that movie more times than I can count.
Oh, do you know all the Latin? Do you know all the Latin still?
The Latin
There wasn't
in the
a lot of actual Latin.
There wasn't a lot of actual Latin. It's eternal. It's and shepherds we shall be for thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from our hands, that our feet may swiftly carry thy command. So we shall flow a river forth unto thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Have you considered voice acting with an Irish accent?
No.
I do in my
Every
Star Shatter
Saturday.
campaign. Not every Saturday, but pretty close.
Most
yeah.
Saturdays.
Most
And I
Saturdays,
make fun of him for it.
Yeah, it does. It's a Newfie accent. It's not quite Irish. It's Newfoundland. That's where I have a lot of family. So yeah. But
Yep.
anyway, diatribe aside, so the symbology. Sorry, and everything that you like to pack into each line. Where does your love of that come from?
It's hard to pinpoint like an exact moment. I can't even really like explain to you where that came from. I think it's just from, I think it's just because I just started doing research on symbolism when I was writing my novel. You know what I mean? About halfway through my novel, I found a couple channels that were breaking down some symbolism, and I was just like, wow, I'm kind of already doing this, but this is like a whole new level of foreshadowing and a whole new level of like characterization. There's a lot of things, like once you understand it, there is a lot of stuff you can do with it, and it like makes your writing 4-dimensional. It totally does. And people who have read your book countless times, they might read one line a different way, and suddenly the whole picture becomes clear, and they see each character differently, and it's like, oh, that guy is actually that thing, and like, holy crap, him saying this to this other person suddenly means like a whole different like thing. And like there is the element of like adding real world symbolism into the story too, like I was saying about being inspired by real history, mythology, for example. There's a lot of different religions on the earth that have a lot of pretty cool characters in mythology. And it just happened to be that like millions of people believed in these characters as gods, so they like mean something to people also. So there's like that emotional and like spiritual connection with these figures, and it goes older than anybody alive. It goes older than a lot of bloodlines that are even still alive. You know what I mean? It's just been always a part of human history. Symbolism, and you gotta keep it going. Yeah,
Love
you gotta
that.
keep it going.
It's one of my writing rules: write what you know, learn what you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, and you'd be amazed at where that road takes you. Some pretty crazy places. Like I kind of know how to sail now after just having my book start off in the ocean on like essentially just a pirate ship.
Yep.
I was like, I'm gonna be here for a third of the book. I should probably do it right. And I'm like, these guys all have scurvy now. You know what I mean? Just like,
I do like when writers, and we've got a fair amount of them who are like, I need to write about this thing, and I'll see it in the Gilded. I have writers be like, hey, I'm writing about this thing. Who knows about this? Or like, who just can point me in a direction? And the conversation will be like, oh, you don't know about this? And like, all of a sudden people are talking about like nuclear physics. And I'm like, what are you guys even on? And then it goes quickly back to memeing. But it's so cool when I see a writer, like, cause that cues me into like the good writing process. Like, hey, I need to talk about this thing in my book. I need to know, like, from actual people, this actual thing, like, or just point me in the direction that I can learn from it. And then they use that in their books. And like, that's just awesome, because I have always viewed it as, especially once you're old enough, the best person to educate yourself is you. You seek it out. You go and you learn. You find out these new things that you didn't know before. And what's so cool is, especially with creatives, good creatives, not bad creatives. Bad creatives think that they can create, but they can't. They just suck. But good creatives are, I want to learn this thing. I want to know how it works so I can write about it competently. And they do. And it's amazing to see it. And I love when people do that and they learn about it, just like you described, because you're educating yourself. You're that little public school or whatever, homeschool or whatever you did. No, you're educating yourself now. You're learning. You're going down that path of knowledge, and it's absolutely incredible. Really, really quickly, I do have to tear off on this because I don't get these. These won't get saved for later. But 15 memberships have been gifted from Danny Diego over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Danny Diego, for gifting 15 memberships to A Drink with Crazy. Seriously, man, just thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. I would strongly recommend that if you would like to become a member of the Gilded and support over there and get the invite to the Wednesday live streams, that's the golden ticket. That's if you want to come in on the live streams on Wednesdays and review some new projects and talk about some new projects that are coming out, introduce people and hang out go over to the Gilded, join the Gilded, become a supporter over there, or just go over to the Gilded for free. Gilded is free. Go over there, hang out, have some fun with people. Sorry, I've got to, I have to do that because Diego is a name that I am not familiar with in the chat unless they change their name from something previous. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Well
James.
done,
That's very
Zorro.
generous.
Well done. There you go. Oh shit! How did I not fucking catch that? How did I not? My
It's
brain
all right,
is.
Royce.
My brain is not.
Don't act Canadian now. Come on.
Oh no!
It's
I don't. No. Canadians apologize for everything. Real men apologize when it's necessary.
Oh,
That's
well,
very-
you know, way to save face.
Yeah, that's very intentionally said. Keep in mind what I said there. Oh God! I love that the Canadian thing is catching on. It's great.
It is. It's stuck in
Oh,
my head.
there you go.
I never apologize anymore now because of you. Thank you. You freed me. You freed me from the shackles of guilt.
Okay, so where that comes from, I'll jump off on this tangent real quick. Where that comes from is years ago, it was like the most used word in the English language, I'll say the American language, is sorry. People say it all the time. And when I learned that, I was like, well, that kind of cheapens the word like a lot. The more that you use a word, the more that, and especially getting into the YouTube thing, I really started to get people like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I'm like, why are you apologizing? Don't apologize. You're sharing your opinion. And I get spicy on some of my live streams, and I kind of go, and I get loud and excited, but that's just my personality. But I tell people, don't apologize for sharing your opinion. That's not something to apologize for. Like, causing harm to somebody and you didn't mean to, okay, yeah, I absolutely apologize for that. Sharing gossip that you didn't know was going to ruin someone's reputation and you just were unaware of this thing, that's something to apologize for. Sharing your opinion online, don't ever apologize for that. Coming in and, like, I had a guy come in on the Rumble chat a while back, and it was a Sunday coffee, and he said, hey, is Eric July here? And I was like, oh, no, it's just so you know, I title my Sunday coffees based off of the videos that I did this last week, and I talked about Eric July a lot, so that's why he's, that's why I'm talking. That's why he's in the title. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I totally misunderstood." And I was like, "Don't apologize. That makes you sound Canadian." And so I have turned the over apology into the Canadian thing, mostly because I am Canadian, and my mom was born up there. My grandfather's parents immigrated from there. My grandfather was like born here, but like anyway, long history in Canada with my family. I tell people, I joke all the time, and and it's kind of serious. The only thing that makes me American is that I was born here. But that's the thing, is don't overuse a word to the point that you diminish its meaning. That's kind of what I am going for with that. And obviously I joke around with it a lot, but the word sorry is used so much, so often, and I'm tired of it. Use it for when it's matter. Sorry, the root being sorrow. Use that word for when it matters, because there are times when it matters. Instead of when you're squeaking by somebody in the store and you accidentally bump into them, don't say sorry for that. Say, oh, excuse me, and move on about your day. Like, there are things to be sorry and sorrowful for. Talking in general is not something, having a conversation is not something to say it for. And I don't know why it started bothering me, but I have this thing. Words matter. Words matter detrimentally to who we are. And if we overuse certain words, because I've done this in my life. I've overused words, and it has shaped me as a person, and sometimes a person I don't want to be. And that's why I kind of make the joke, and I say, don't say sorry. Don't be Canadian. Don't do that. Be sorrowful when you need to be, because there's a time and place for it. And only the Canadians are the ones that say sorry when there's no need for it. And that's It's a lot. Okay, it's a lot of deep thought for a fucking joke on Sunday. Okay.
Well, it comes from a place of feeling.
Oh man.
And it pertains
Chat-
to like definitions of things, so it matters,
True. Chat, you know what to do.
Sorry. But
I was very tempted.
yeah. But back to the subject of symbolism. If
I'm
you
gonna
guys
get
want,
kicked out.
oh, why is that?
For sicking the chat on Royce for the
Well, you got to do that every now and then. Like that's what Royce is here for.
Yeah. You fuckers. Everybody in the chat, sorry. We're sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Fucking Kiko Mom. I'm sorry you're gay, Royce. But I don't apologize for disliking you.
The power of words, Royce.
I'm
Daniel just
aware.
showed you.
I am aware. And I just got. Never
distracted.
mind. No. The Danny Diego guy sent in a super chat, and there's. Never mind. I have to figure things out now. Anyway, I just.
Nah, you
Sorry.
can't wind up like that.
No, I'm gonna have to text a buddy of mine now. I'm gonna have to text a buddy of mine now and be like, sir. Anyway, I apologize about that. Yeah, messed with my. I think I am fairly certain a very good friend of mine is playing mind games with me.
Good.
But that goes back months.
Well, sometimes you got to get those jabs in, with your buddies. So,
Dude, this would be like a 6-month-long mind game.
Sweet.
that's a pretty good jab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a strong jab, right?
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
mind.
No, huge, strong jab. So, but anyway,
Right.
so
Well
my
played.
my diatribe aside about the whole like Canadian thing and stuff like that, it really is. I come across like a babbling idiot, but I'm a thoughtful babbling idiot. So I really do think about a lot of the things that I say before I say them. But that's where the whole like the sorry thing comes from, and it's yes. But anyway, anything. Tim Allen, mind games on Royce is interesting. Show me more. No, sorry about that, Andy. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. You've been here before.
After that,
I've
right?
been in the chat before.
You have been in the chat before. Yes, this is true.
Gang.
Gang. Anyway, so okay, Richard Daniel, I'm lost. Sorry, my mind got completely sidetracked.
Symbolism.
You got sidetracked? I can't believe it.
Oh,
Impossible.
like that doesn't
The
happen.
tangent.
That wasn't what got me sidetracked. That was not what got me sidetracked.
I'm sorry for sidetracking you.
Yeah, he's keeping what got him sidetracked hidden.
That
for
is
us.
true. Yeah, the super chat. So,
Yeah.
so you're talking about symbolism,
It'll come up in a half hour.
Yeah, it'll be
right? Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
So anyway, the symbolism.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about,
Symbolism.
what inspirations, like what were your primary inspirations for this? If you're drawing on,
Good question.
symbolism, I mean, usually those things are going to be related probably relatively closely to other inspirations that you've had. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a combination of like my personal beliefs, honestly, and like real world like history and mythology, like, and I'm just like learning how to do it really, like, and there's no place to learn like speaking a different language like this. It's another layer on top of language, so I just got to figure out my own way to do it, really.
So when you say personal beliefs, do you mean like religious beliefs or political beliefs or, or a combination of those things?
Well, I would say probably more religious, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
even call it religious. I would just say like things I've noticed about being alive, like the
Yeah, so
nature
so
of
a very
cycles.
deep kind of worldview sort of implication there. So I mean, when you're when you set out to start writing this, was there a piece of media that kind of catalyzed your decision to start doing this stuff, or did it just was it just kind of the thing where you had been thinking about this and you realized that you had started, you know what I'm saying? Like, was
Mhm.
there a seed that sort of planted that idea that, hey, maybe I could do this. I want to do this kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
This
I
particular story, I should say.
well, I had my world right from my novel and
Hmm.
all the possibilities therein in any time period, and I was like, well, that's a thing, and I did that for a reason. But I guess I didn't really consider short stories until I started doing your prompts, man.
Hmm.
For real. The annexation one, like I said, it captured my imagination, and I was just like, what annexation would happen in my world? And from there, the freaking story wrote itself. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what are some real world annexations that happened? Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting. That's cool. That happened. Holy crap! I didn't even know that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. You could probably just write down actual history, but just sort of scrub the names and serial numbers off of things, and every like 99% of people would be like, wow, that was a really crazy story. How'd you come up with that? you know?
I'll tell you how I came up with it. I opened a history book, and now
Yeah.
you know a little bit about that story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You teach
I
people
just
how
totally dog on them.
you trick them into learning, man. You trick them into learning.
It happens
Here, now
all
you know
the
something.
time.
Yeah. No, you're not so dumb, you idiot. There you go.
Oh God,
But
that's
I'd say
great. I love
the extra layer on top of the story, though, from all the like, real world stuff and just like patchwork of like my own world and like mythology and stuff, and I would say the overall. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. But the overall,
That's fine.
oh yeah, the extra layer on top would be the implications with my world. So it would be like the
Mhm.
magic. I also like cross-referenced my notes of story seeds. So that's where the reanimated soldier comes in with
Yeah.
a memory of mortality.
Yes. Yep.
I
Yeah.
actually had this. Yeah.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say I really enjoyed that story,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I it I could tell that there was like so much more going on there. So I'm happy to hear that there is a I know that you mentioned having a novel or larger world. I don't remember what your exact terminology was, but uh, I'm glad to see that things are moving forward on it, and
Oh yeah.
you're going to bring that thing into reality because
Oh yeah.
I think that like my goal with the prompts has always been, well, not totally, but my hope is that people will use them as springboards to write things from their own creations. Not that it's hard, not that you have to, somehow tie something into your world like you did, but if a one-off picture makes you think of something, then and you think it's a good story, then by all means write it. I would love for people to do that, but especially if you see something and you go, this can fit, and it's a good an organic story that comes out of that, then I'm like, that's perfect, because then not only do people um, get a piece of free content that they can enjoy, and they get to know your style and you a little bit better, but they also are able to get a taste of your intellectual property that you actually are selling. And at the end of the day, I want everybody to be able to make a living in the space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We
I'm
build each other up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So is A Memory of Mortality in the book that's out now, that I'm blanking on the name of?
That's
Yeah,
right
it
in
is.
front of you.
Okay. It's right in front of me. There we go. Yeah. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Mortal
Yeah, it's-
Descent.
Yep, it's story number 2.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
But in a sense,
Well-
it's story number 1 because it was the first one I wrote out of all 3.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, I had the story seed of, it started off like Napoleonic time period because I did a little bit of Napoleon research just randomly. I was like, I'm gonna check this guy out again. Fascinating. Don't even get me started on history, but like that guy and the stuff that the soldiers were doing, like, bro, in Russia. Holy crap. And then he's just like, keep going. And, like so many people dying. That was so bad. And it must have been hell on earth. Right. So I was just like, probably some of the most hellish times, like Napoleonic and like World War I, trench warfare. We've all heard of that. I was like, what if there was a time in my world or potentially a different story not on my world where like, you got these clashing nations, and you hear authors and other creators and stuff talk about how as soon as you resurrect a character, they're just like, oh, I'm done with the story. Death doesn't matter. Life is a lie. Everything is cameras. I just like thought about that, and I was like, if it's a part of the story and it matters to like the lore of everything, then it's done right. So like for people to say that like as soon as you resurrect a character it destroys something in it, well, that's just like not enough foreshadowing in my opinion, but I digress.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're breaking rules, you know what I mean, like that's really where I think that the origin of that sentiment is when people, publishers would hype up something, like Death of Superman or whatever, and then it's like
it doesn't matter.
But then anything, it's like, okay, wow, these characters die, and then they're like, and it was really just manipulation. So
the biggest one that was a betrayal to the story when it comes to bringing people back was when they brought back Mary Winchester in Supernatural. The entire story hinged off of her death. And so when they brought her, I mean, and the show, admittedly, the writers tried to stop the show, but I think the fans threatened to kill them or something. I'm not saying they actually did, but there would have been riots in the streets had they ended that show any earlier than they did, because they tried ending it like 3 times. But really, when they brought back, they did because they ran out of story. That's why they changed writers so many times. But when they brought back Mary Winchester in that show, it was like, oh, death doesn't matter, because that was the one rule, right? That was the one rule, is like all of this is based off of her death. The boys got sent on this journey because they're dead, and blah, blah, blah. Like all of the mythos was built off of her death protecting her sons, or which you didn't find out till later. And once they did that, it kind of broke the rules of the universe. It's like, oh, well, death. And then they started bringing a whole bunch of people back in like weird way. Oh, it's an alternate dimension version. So there's a way to bring people back where it matters, and it makes sense to the story. And then there's a way where you just cheapen it to all hell, and it's and that's what really happened. And so if you do it right, and it's like any storytelling element, if you do it right, it's gonna work. If you do it badly, it's not gonna work.
Foreshadowing, properly setting up everything. And I'll just like backpedal one more time and say symbolism adds a whole nother dimension to that. It's like it's like when they first came out with like the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, man, you're like, this looks so real, you know what I mean? The graphics on this book
did though. And why do you have to make me feel that old?
Because I feel that old and I like to be in good company.
So I have to suffer with you? Oh, I see how it is.
Yes, that's what creators do.
No, bro. If I'm in the slums, you're gonna be in the slums with me. Oh, That's
But yeah, I decided to take that. I heard so many people say that, like in review communities and stuff, like, oh, I like this book, but then death didn't matter. But I still finished it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Stuff like that. And I can't help but feel like in some cases it wasn't a bad thing, and this is just becoming like a stigma or something. So I was aware of that idea, and I decided to fully make it a core element of a single story at least. And A Memory of Mortality, it's a soldier who's been reanimated so many times that he doesn't even know who he is. All he knows is he's a soldier and he has to do what he's told. Muscle memory, conditioning. Your name is 99 now, because that's when we stopped counting how many times you died. Get back to the front line. There's people to kill over there. Don't worry about how young they are, because they can't revive their soldiers. Right? So war is hell. And everybody that's a part of it is The Walking Dead. Just being pitted against each other as some higher power back home profits on the blood of people, unfortunately. And again, the symbolism, right? I have a line here, if you guys are curious. It's one of my lighter symbolic lines, but it goes, it's from the first story, A Gift of Ghosts, the first story in the book. It goes, hundreds of cook fires were lit. The army feasted, and they left a trail of bones wherever they went. So that kind of tells you what war is like, and how an army can kind of resemble a beast that has become autonomous. And it's not enough to feast off of other creatures, but it becomes feasting off of the land itself, right? It becomes a force that is, self-sustaining. And there's no stopping it unless something stops it, right? And that's what you can get with just a little bit of symbolism. That's one, but I digress again.
Good line.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pull a bunch of like direct symbolism lines in preparation for the podcast. I got like examples of like some of my descriptions and stuff. If you guys want to read it, I could go back to, where this journey all began and continue telling you my story. If you want, I could tell you about my full length. I could tell you about whatever you want.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your full length novel that is upcoming, because these short stories are, feeding into that, and
It's a taste.
Yeah, and so tell us a little bit more about that, and then if Daniel doesn't have anything or Royce doesn't have anything, we can go to Super Chat. But yeah,
I have one thing that I'm gonna do.
Okay. When do you want to do it, Royce?
When you're done.
yeah.
Okay. Good. We'll do it when I'm done then, Royce.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my full length, it's kind of been this idea in the works since probably like 2016, 17, just as a really rough idea. And ironically, back then, my plan, I was just going to skip the novel altogether. And my plan, because I have an artist buddy that I went to high school with, was to make a comic. Before any sort of like comic stuff, like I was just like working my 2 jobs in a small town, and like had my buddy he was the server, I was making the salads, you know what I mean? And I would just nerd out with him every day. We'd just talk nerdy stuff, and the story started brewing in my head, and I saw the possibility of him doing the art, and like I even storyboarded a bunch of it out, and I had a good chunk of it, ready. The story's changed a lot since then, but it started off as this idea of, this captain comes to this island that's like full of the shorter fantasy races, if that makes sense, like your goblins, your dwarves, your gnomes, all that kind of stuff, because of I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Have you heard of like island syndrome, where like you get tiny elephants and little hobbit people? You know,
Yeah.
that exists. That's a real thing. So that's how you get goblins and you get dwarves in my world is science and evolution and stuff.
And islands.
And island. Well, that's where I got the idea. I'm not saying that's like the hardcore reason, because there's a lot more implications involved when you start like taking a second look at some of these races and like how they might have come to be. You know, like I said, the world is as old as it needs to be. So how long does it take for you to get a whole race of diverse, colorful dragon people walking around, you know, or humanity as diverse as we see it in real life, or orcs and then goblins who happen to look identical to them, and they're both like, what the heck, you know what I mean? What's going on here? But I'm just rambling now at this point. The original idea was this captain comes to this island full of these people, and you got your traditional, you know, like first contact story or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? And it was this just a comic at first, but over the years that kind of went on the back burner. My buddy, you know, got busy. He's got like 4-5 kids, you know, he's got a full family, you know.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I do not blame him. I don't blame him. No. But you know, I eventually met my wife during the pandemic, and you know, the rest is history from there. But like after about a year together, the story just started coming back to me again, you know. And there's always the option of like doing music and stuff, but like I don't know, this story came back, and I was like, what if that captain that was coming to that island was the protagonist, instead of like this D&D group of different races on the island banding together, and instead of it being instead of it being a different classic D&D story, how about like we see what this captain is all about, like what's going on with this bad guy that's showing up, right? And there's obviously a lot of real world history you can draw from there, right? So yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. I have a question, but I'll ask it afterwards.
Okay. So it became kind of like I started re-examining the story, especially after like being married and having kids and stuff. Like, and I was like, if you're inside the head of the protagonist, which my story's first person present tense for reasons. If you're inside the head of the protagonist, that's like the most intimate place you can be for a person. And also on the subject of like protagonists, wouldn't like a mother be just like the ultimate protagonist because she has everything to lose? And this is something I realized, you know, getting married and having kids, you know, going through 2 pregnancies that had their fair share of complications and stuff, and being surrounded by doctors that are, you know, taking control of like the situation, for lack of a better term, and telling my wife, you know, what her freedoms are and stuff, and just going through a lot of that pregnancy stuff, but amplified to like 11 because of complications. You start realizing how much mothers really have to lose. And as a parent, you start realizing what you would do to protect your children. And you start feeling like a protagonist. And you start realizing you would do things that you couldn't even imagine without that wife and kids, right? And I'm like, what a great protagonist, you know, what a great way to do it. So I was like, pregnant protagonist, how can I make this fit in a world of magic? And it kind of started just kind of turning into like this story, kind of like a la Breaking Bad, where it's like this mother who discovers one of these objects early on, these magical objects, and is already well liked by everybody. She's a charismatic person, and once you add like freaking magic into the mix, people will gravitate to that like a religion, especially in a low tech setting, a low tech, low magic setting. And it's also a great way to make, put a protagonist in a position of power where they can have all the agency. So she became the captain, and the story goes on from there, and it's all her choices as like the captain, and like protecting her child, and like growing in power as the story like progresses, as her her belly's growing, and it's like, what's going to happen in this, and like it gets progressively more dangerous in ways, and there's curveballs, and like it's just like that, like how is this mother going to survive in this strange world? And it's also a fantasy story, so crazy stuff can happen, right? So
awesome.
What was your question that you were going
I was curious if you were a discovery writer or more of a outliner, based on the fact that you do research, and then one of your comments. I was just kind of curious which method you tend towards.
That's a good question. I've I think every writer hears those terms at some point and asks themselves that. At the end of the day, I like a good strong frame to hang the story on, but I don't like to overworld build, because then there's some feel bads when not all of it can be used and you try to cram something in. Now don't get me wrong, it is good to overworld build in some ways, in the areas that it matters. Like, for example, if you're just pumping out a bunch of names, and the names in my stories mean something. Every single name means something. I'll just say that. You could probably Google most of the names and say translation. It'll turn into a word, like strong or something, right?
Yeah, like
names
are supposed to be.
What?
Like names are supposed to be.
See.
Yeah, not just like a collection of syllables, like, because it sounds cool, right? So like him and Horfist, the protagonist of A Saga of Sunsets, which is the third story in my book. Himmin, I believe, translates.
That's how you say that. I had such a hell of a time with that on the Wednesday live stream.
I'm sorry, man.
Don't apologize. I'm an idiot. You should know
You
this.
got me.
I did.
I'm Canadian now.
I know.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm going to have people just like wrapped in Canadian flags on this stream one day. Sorry.
But
that's how you say that name.
Himmin, I believe, translates to winter or cold or something. I can't remember what root word I used. And I also try to have a bias towards whatever culture it makes the most sense to do. So like the names in A Gift of Ghosts, story number 1, a lot of them are Celtic and like Gallic and stuff like that. The names in Saga, a lot of them are Norse and like Viking, right? But I'm getting carried away again. Like, overworld building names can pay off in the long run, because now you have a bank of names, and especially if they mean something, you just set those names aside and they all mean something, right? You can use those. So you don't want to get too carried away with world building, but in some areas it can actually pay off. And I find, if I have a good frame to start off with, when I dive into the story, a lot of it starts writing itself, really. Because like when stuff happens, it needs to happen for a reason. So it's like ripples, like you plop a stone in there, but you do need a stone to start off with, right? That's the little bit of outlining. You plop it in there and you just note all the ripples.
Yep.
And you just make sure you document it all. And then you get a good story, right? In theory.
In theory.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
Hey, that sounds like music theory. Wait a minute.
A little bit.
A little bit, huh?
There's a reason why there's the term story beats.
Yeah.
Yup.
Great connection.
Yes.
Great connection.
Yes. Oh, hey, look at that. We're getting smarter. Wait a minute.
Whoops.
So,
yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to do before we go into super chats and the Rumble chats and turn it over to them, something that I do, and I've never done this on this show, but I do it all the time on Wednesdays, and it pisses people off so badly. And now I actually have the author here to hear how horribly I can do a dramatic reading of their first page. And if you've ever tuned into my Wednesday live streams, this is where I will go in and we like to highlight projects. And I will read the first page of their book or their graphic novel. Mostly it's in the novels that I do this, but I do the dramatic reading. It's always terrible. I pronounce the names terribly, but the basic idea is I will stop at the first page. And so wherever we stop, the rule is if you want to finish that sentence or the rest of it, you have to go and you have to pay the author money to go finish the sentence. So we are going to do I usually do on Comic Shop Wednesday. We're going to do it live here because I actually have the author here. And I thought, you know what, this would be really, really fun to do. And so we are going to read the first page of Mortal Descent from AC Pritchard. I will be dropping the link down in the chat right now, and this is just really fun. It's really fun for me to do. I'm going to butcher everything.
I can't wait.
You can fully make fun of me. It's fine. It's fine. But in the spirit of the channel, let's get into the dramatic reading. A Gift of Ghosts, a Legend of Retribution. Alone, Queen Vatisa, I'm going to butcher the names, just roll with it, appeared at dawn from Nyrewood's oaken tree line, golden sunlight bursting through the canopy like thousands of bronze spears. The silhouettes of the trees reached out with jagged arms between the shafts of light, the sky a vibrant purple, as the Dragon Queen of Lynn padded across the scorched earth that had once been a part of the forest. The human city-state known as Hibernia lay ahead, black clouds of industry bleeding into the sky like trenches of spilled ink. Its walls were limestone with basalt towers at intersecting points. The Temple of Divine glowing like white marble moon atop a hill at the heart of the port city. The smell of smoke and rotting fish carried across the exposed land, causing the Red Queen's scaly nostrils to flare. Vatisa's people and were the Drothukan, lizard folk from the wooded north, and she was as fierce an example as any of them. Her scales were the deep crimson of blood, hundreds of tiny rubies when sunlight touched them. A red gold crown of leaves stood bright atop her head, matching her smoldering eyes. A hooded cloak of golden silk fluttered about her bare feet as she walked, thick golden band around her neck glistening with geometric engravings across its surface in the light. The element, she thought, feeling the power trapped within, begging for freedom, so eager, so hungry. She wielded a bronze. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to finish that sentence or that paragraph, it's going to cost you $12.15 or $19.84 over here on Amazon to finish that. That's right. It's only $12.15 to finish, ladies and gentlemen. But it drives people nuts when I do that too. They're like, you couldn't even finish. No, because if I scroll down, ladies, I already gave you the first page for free. And if I scroll down, you're going to get the second page for free. And ladies and gentlemen, these writers and authors are working so incredibly hard to come up with fantastic stories for you to read. And they give you so many pages for free here on Amazon. I'll give you the first page for free because I want you to be interested. I want you to be invested. But you got to pay them. You got to pay them to finish this. That way you can have it. That way you can experience the rest of their story the way that you wanted to, not with my terrible reading, but in your mind where all stories should take place.
She wielded a bronze.
Don't do it. No, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. No.
What did she wield?
Oh, no. Oh, don't give the chat that power. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
And now the super chat.
Oh, no. I know I butchered a lot of your words there, but
it's just dildo.
oh no! Oh God! Oh God! They already started. They already, as you were saying. Oh no!
Here we go.
Oh,
That's my chat. Good chat.
No, don't congratulate Richard. What has this channel become? I feel like it was respectable before you guys showed up.
I refuse to take responsibility for this. I'm the tamest of the three.
That is
speaking.
true.
Well, maybe not.
I'm all
more tamed,
chaos on this show.
but, you know.
Oh God, Raving Dead Gaming, rock out with your wigs out. Oh, good Lord. No, hopefully I didn't butcher too much of your first page, but I do hope that I got some people interested in the book, and I hope that you got some people interested in it. I really hope that you get some sales tonight and you've interested enough people in your storytelling. And I guess at this point, we're just going to go into some super chats, and Kikomon left a lot of dad jokes, like a lot of them. Kiko. Oh, good Lord. This is good. This is going to be interesting. A lot of Kikomon.
Kikomon has a way of, he comes in with his, with his drunk chats, but he has like some heavy wisdom sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
Wisdom.
He does. So over on the Rumbles for $2. God, I'm gonna have to bounce back and forth between you. Let me clear the Rumbles first, and then we'll go to the YouTube because there's a lot of Kikomon over in Rumble. So for $2, Kikomon says, "How do you donate money to terrorists? Just pay our taxes."
Not wrong.
Oh no. Oh, Kikomon for $2. I bought my blind friend a cheese grater for his birthday. A week later, he said it was the most violent book he'd ever read.
Oh man.
Oh, for $2 again. Genders are like the Twin Towers. They used to be two, and now it's just a sensitive subject.
Oh man.
Where does he come up with these, or does he just I don't even know. I don't know if he comes up with them or if he if he comes up with it, he needs Kikomon needs to do a joke book. He needs that's what he needs.
I thought you were going to say he needs help, but you know.
Well, dude, he's in my gilded. There's no helping my gilded.
We all need help.
Kikomon for $2. Why did the slave go to college? To get his master's degree.
That's just clever.
It really
That's
is.
just clever.
Well done,
It's not even funny. It's just clever.
I know. It's the cringe sort of funny, which now we have entered that. Like there used to be like haha funny and ironic funny, and now there's cringe funny. And I love that.
Which is different than just straight cringe.
Yeah, it is. It is. We've invented a new funny. Kikomon for $2. What do an open champagne bottle and an orphan have in common? They both lost their pop.
Oh.
Kikomon for $2. My favorite childhood memory is building sandcastles with my grandpa. That is, until my mom took the urn away. The fuck?
Oh man.
Oh no! Good God.
He goes on a tear tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go Kikomon.
Oh God, he's on a tear. Okay, over on YouTube, I'll get to he left a bigger super chat or a bigger Rumble chat over on Rumble, but we'll get to that one here in a minute. Because it is a larger chat. I kick him on for $5. How do parents punish a blind kid? They rearrange the furniture in the house.
Fair.
For $2, what's a kidnapper's favorite shoe? White Vans.
Oh, we were just talking about that earlier.
I know.
That's
I think he dropped it during that conversation.
Oh yeah.
Kikomon.
Kikomon for $5. Why did God make man before woman? Because he didn't want any advice on how to do it.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Wow. Does
For
Kiko
fun.
Man have like? Does he have like 12,000 followers? Or
I don't
more on
know.
Twitter?
I don't think he does, dude. He's just here. He's just in the gilded. This is just what he does. He just
He's Kikomon.
it's
What a gift.
yeah. He's a gift. Oh, dude. And if you've ever talked, what was so crazy too, like you get in the like private chats. If you've ever talked with him in like a deep conversation, the guy is unbelievably smart and really philosophical, really deep. And he just comes over here and he's just like, I'm just gonna meme you. I don't care.
I believe it.
He's
yeah.
great, dude. I love him to death. Kikamon for $5 says, the joke is so dark that it's picking cotton in Alabama. Fuck.
Oh.
Oh my god.
As a Welshman, I'll say my people make famously good slaves too. And I'm happy. You can
Not
ask the
wrong.
Norse. You can ask the Vikings.
Wrong.
Oh god. I believe your wife is telling me that I didn't totally butcher that page, so that's awesome.
No, the only thing if I have to point anything out, it's the Drafikin. The Drafikin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not a big deal. You still said it like basically fine, and I don't even care. Like I like what George Martin says about his names. That however you pronounce it is right. Just pronounce it. However.
That is the one thing I will accept from writers because it's hard to get people to like understand like your pronunciation when you're selling a book, like unless you're like saying no, pronounce it like this. A lot of times I don't like when writers like, well, what do you think? No. You're the writer. You tell me what you were thinking. But when it comes to names, they're like, look, I thought of it like this, but it's a name. Obviously, everybody comes from a different place. We're all going to read it different. English is weird language. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's the one thing I actually like I accept. I'm like, oh, that because that just makes sense. It's like, all right, yeah. What's an Arab's first move in chess? C4. What the fuck? By the way, Kikomon is from the Middle East. Like, it's like that's what makes this great. What is a terrorist's biggest fear? Dying alone. Dude, Kikomon, you're gonna get my channel demonetized. Well, my channel is gonna get demonetized. That's great. Kikomon for $2. Organ meats for the wins. Americans are wusses. Yeah, when we were talking about all the foods and stuff. We're talking about like liver and onions and like cow tongue and stuff. Oh, dude, it's so good. So good. I don't know why people are so afraid of like organ meats. I don't like but unless they've had them prepared badly, I can understand that. But if you've ever had good liver and onions, there was this restaurant up the road. It was this diner. It was one of the few diners that would serve liver and onions, and they did like homemade liver and onions. And my dad used to get it all the time. And my mom would just stare at my dad and I like, what's wrong with you people? Like, but it's delicious. Oh, so good. So good. Maji Chan for $5 says, everyone here remember you are picking up the pieces of a failing culture. No matter how big or small the project, you are contributing to the change. I think all of us feel that. I really, really do.
It's Magi Chan.
No, and she's hard at work doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maji Chan for $2. Let the wigs fly for a better tomorrow. Can't believe the wig thing became a thing on the channel. That was a joke. Kikomon for $2 is don't conflict sorry with apology. I don't. And not conflate, I believe is the word he was going for. But yes. I don't conflict. I wasn't talking about apology. I was talking about sorrow there. Feeling sorrowful for something. That's not an apology. There's the different. Anyway, this is the chat that completely threw me off because now I have to figure out what the absolute hell. I'll put this one on the screen. Danny Diego for $20. And $20 does get the applause. Because I've decided that arbitrarily because Danny Diego says, no worries, I'm already in the Gilded and a gold member, but under a different name. And I've been here since the days of Brawlhalla, since the days of nothing is true, everything is permissible. Your confusion pleases me.
Sustains me.
Okay. This is what's screwing with my head so bad. The nothing is true, everything is permissible. And the Brawlhalla. Those are two very different time periods on the channel. The nothing is true, everything is permissible video is what I did with my buddy Matt, which is who I thought this son of a bitch was. Apparently it's not. We did a video from Assassin's Creed because we like talking philosophy on the channel, and nothing is true, everything is permissible, which actually caused me to actually deep dive into like what is truth for years. Like I was trying to figure it out. And I feel like I finally have a definition that suffices for me. But the Brawlhalla thing, and now I'm confused. And they're a gold member, which is the Iron Age Booty Daddy tier over in Gilded. Right. So they are a gold member over there. And now I have to go, who in the absolute hell? It could be Trippy Soul trying to screw with me. Because he was here during the Brawlhalla days. It's got to be Trippy Soul. It's got to be Trippy. That's the only thing that I can think of. But I don't know. And now that's again, there's a lot of stuff there, and I'm just like, okay, X-Files theme 10 yeah. Also, don't bring up the question, are we in a simulation? Oh, fuck off. I hate you. Whoever Danny Diego is.
Simulation, there was a hiccup there a second ago, but you.
Oh, my God.
You got a little bit robotic.
Hey, John De La Rose. John De La Rose, how are you? Yeah, the simulation does like to give out.
School glitch.
John De La Rose says, Richard, I have art delay, but it is getting made for you. Ooh.
Interesting.
There you go. Love it when John shows up. John, how you doing? John, you're going to get an invite for next week's show. You better freaking be here. It's the cigar stream. We're going to hang out and talk out. We're going to make fun of my first Isom Eric July Ripperverse video. Because you have actually been on Iron Age Nights. You were an impromptu guest, but you were a guest nonetheless. So, he's not. Danny Diego is not an alter ego of our Iron Age poet. All right, I'm not okay with
that
this.
sounds like what he'd say. I'm kidding. Fuck.
This is actually screwing with me right now, and I'm not happy about it. Maji-chan for $2. Daniel's Seat of Power is extra powerful today. Hey, Daniel. Hey, buddy. Sorry. Maji-chan for $2. Maji-chan, thank you so much. Hail King Richard. Malige, the anvil is shiny. See.
Yeah, I cannot wait for everybody to get their hands on it, because even with the issues with the first proof, which were obviously disappointing, like the printing issues that occurred were from a easily traced source. It was essentially a binding machine that they don't normally use, and they had somebody new on it, and the new person screwed up the new binding machine. The binding machine that they don't usually use. So it was a little bit disappointing, but even then it was very surreal to be like, here it is, this is it, and I think I think that everybody is going to love it whenever they get their hands on it. And so anyway, I will have some decisions and updates on the timing of things here in on the Sunday night chill stream. I'll have a little chat about how things are going with Anvil, and I'll be doing a formal update on Monday, Monday, I think the 10th, isn't it? So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I said Anvil. I launched into my spiel.
You're good, man. You're good. It's important.
Can't hear you, buddy.
Me?
Nope, sorry, I muted.
It was perfect.
I have a mechanical keyboard, so every time I type on the keyboard, it makes the noises.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to mute while I type. And I
You could
forget
just turn it so that your mic's not pointed directly at your mechanical keyboard.
it's not pointed directly at the
I'm-
mechanical.
But the secondary mic is. You've got that second.
The secondary mic is over there,
the
and it's
shotgun
muted
mic
and turned
right at your
off.
fingers.
God, there is actually a secondary mic. It's over there. It's I play Raving Dad Gaming. This is not a super chat, but just any advice on how to make book covers. I think the easiest way is to probably hire an artist, and then I'm gonna turn it over to the people who've actually had to make book covers. You guys, easiest way to make book cover?
I'm gonna need more context from that one.
I can.
Raving Dad Gaming. Go into my Gilded if you're in my Gilded, and reach out to Daniel Riley
Yeah.
and talk with him. He'll help you out. Just
Yeah, throw me a DM.
up. And Daniel, I'll ask you to do this as just give him a short consult as a personal favor to me. He's
Always. I give
it's-
advice for free.
Raving Dad Gaming is my cousin. So, there's that family thing, and I want to make sure that I can help him out if I can, because he's family and that's what you do. But not like Vin Diesel family, but family.
Hey Daniel, when you talk to him about that, make sure you do mention the free channels available. Like Amazon offers stock pictures, for example. I know that's a point that a lot of people point to and say, use stock pictures instead of AI art, which is fair. You can do that. It's free.
Yeah, you can, definitely.
But you want to support artists.
Mhm. If you can afford to, absolutely. But I've worked with Amazon specifically has a program called Kindle Create, which you can use to create a book cover using stock images. And they already have formatted banners for title and spine, all of that stuff. So we can talk about it one-on-one.
Yeah, perfect. I just figured I'd toss that in there. There's free channels.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
I think Danny Diego is Kikomon screwing with me. Sorry, that's still messing with my head. Maji-chan for $2 says, butterfly effect is how Shalar went from short full to full novel. I think that's what she meant. She said just short full novel, but I'm assuming Danny Diego. Oh shit. Gilded gained guy. No. This Danny Diego person is really screwing with me.
It's Kikomon with the gray fox mask pulled down.
It
There
could
you
be. And I don't know. And it's messing with me. And I don't like.
It's Zoro. Deal with it. You are not going to learn who Zoro is.
This is. I'm going to be sitting here staring at the Gilded for 4 hours.
Danny Diego is the protagonist for Shalar.
Don't you fucking start.
He's a gunslinger.
Don't you fucking start.
Like, I can keep going.
Oh,
You're
God.
friends with writers. The story's there already.
I know. I can't believe that you guys did that off of a freaking meme. Okay. So Kikomon does this thing. He goes over here into Rumbles and he drops $50. $50 over on the Rumbles. And for $50, he leaves a YouTube link and says, "Why are you gay?" And now I have to play the freaking YouTube video. It's probably freaking channel demonetized.
Oh man.
But this is what Kikomon leaves.
Here we go.
I don't got popcorn, but
Oh, God.
I have watermelon.
send some
We
over.
bring
bro.
in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good
having
morning.
me. Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Yes.
You are gay. You are a transgender.
Whoa.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, and you're a gay rights activist and an outspoken homosexual. How can I describe you? Now we're looking at the raging debate. You're a gay rights activist. Why should someone be gay? You're having a girlfriend.
Yes.
Man, I have
Do you
not
perform
seen
the
this
natural
in
obligations?
beyond. Why are you gay?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are
By
you doing with
choice.
this lady?
By choice.
By choice.
Just not engaged.
I've never seen this.
Doesn't that make
Dude,
you
this is
gay?
wild.
What do you mean? Doesn't that make me gay? I am male and attracted to a female.
So who is gay?
I'm gay.
What the absolute?
Why are you gay?
That is legit. I actually, one of my good friends is from Cameroon, and she is the most direct person. She will ask flat out, simple, pointed questions about everything, and it throws you off if you're not prepared for it. That is just the way it is over there. They are straightforward people.
Oh my god. That was hilarious. I've never seen that clip in its entirety.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah.
Oh my god. Tim Allen for $5 says, "Is the Wig of Destiny messing with our Iron Age booty daddy's brain now?" Yeah, it always has. Like you don't understand the Wig of Destiny. It's just
unlike normal hair, the wig actually penetrates Royce's scalp, skull, and attempts to strangle his brain. Eventually, he will die of the Wig of Destiny.
It gets into the brain think it's bad. It's you don't. What you need to do is you need to look up the history of the Wig of Destiny.
Once
And
it's
it's
finished eating the sweetbreads, it'll move on to another target.
Like that,
No, that's not how I do. That's not how I do. That's not the Wig of. So what the Wig of Destiny do is it. Believe it or not, it's this really really weird thing. It drains the life force of the host that it has chosen, and when it does that, the Wig of Destiny. But it's so hungry that once that life force leaves, the host literally needs to keep going. But the wig doesn't have anything. So it actually has to give just enough back to keep the host alive. And it's very painful. It's a very painful process. And then it will go find a new host. And then the wig will detach, taking all of that life force that it imparted back into him. And then you die a very, very painful, gruesome death. It's terrible. And then the wig attaches to a new host and then starts absorbing off of that. It's a very strange... and that's why you really try not to talk badly about the wig because it can do this process fast or slow.
Right. And then you get the bubonic plague 2.0. Like, that's what happened, right?
You're not supposed to talk about that.
Not in front of
I
them.
like my version better.
It just made me imagine that episode of The Simpsons where I forgot the guy's name, the criminal guy dies.
Silent Bob. Or no,
Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob. Sorry,
No,
Silent Bob
no,
is...
it was the literal criminal guy with the pack of cigarettes in his shoulder. He dies.
Oh.
And they take his hair, and Homer Simpson gets the hair, and it burrows into his head. And
Oh, yeah.
And it looks
Albany-
like Royce's hair, and like he goes out and kills people. So like Royce is the guy from The Simpsons with the Wig of Destiny.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Everybody's like, Snake? Yes, it is actually Snake. And my wife was the first one to say it.
Perfect.
Yes. The wig prefers pie. Actually, I love pie. I hate cake. I love pie. Pie is really good. Pumpkin pie. Oh, mint. Danny Diego says, I will give you one less hint. You got drunk on a Brawlhalla stream. I made you laugh so hard. You offered to make love to me. That's when I subbed.
That's a good clue.
It's going to make Royce go back and watch his own.
I'm going to go back and watch the fucking Brawlhalla streams.
Yeah.
They're...
How to cook
Anyway. I don't remember getting drunk on a Valhalla stream. The only stream that I remember getting drunk on was my birthday stream, which I was drunk when I started that stream. So,
Sometimes you got to start a little seasoned, man.
it was just a really good day. It was a good day at work. It was just a good day in general. The channel was climbing, and it was my birthday, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a birthday stream. But unlike most birthday streams where people are like, hey, give me money, I was like, I'm going to shout out creators, and that's actually where the Wednesday show was born from. So, yeah, dude, I started that stream 6 or 7 in, and then just kept going. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was quite the Kikomon for $2. That is the meme. Why are you gay? Yes, we know that's the meme. We've just never seen it. Of course we know that's the meme, Kikomon. We know that's where, yeah. I've just never seen it in its entirety. It's funnier in its entirety. Oh, man.
If you have to explain the joke, it's not funny.
That's why I explain jokes.
You turn them into anti-jokes?
I try to. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to break.
Royce puts the moron in oxymoron.
I fucking hate you. It's not how you say that.
Oxymoron? Is that what you said? Oxymoron?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's been real fun with you guys here tonight. Just so you know.
Dude, this has been
There's a lot
great
like
stream.
I didn't go through, but it's been a fun time. You know.
Dude, this has been an absolutely fantastic stream. Do me a favor before we all get going. Where can we find you, good sir? Where do you have links? Yeah, shoot them over in the private chat. We'll get those shared. But yeah, where can we find you? How can we keep up with you? And make sure that we don't lose track of all the great things that you're going to be working on.
Well, I've been going pretty hard on Twitter.
There you go.
Trying to establish things. You can find me on Instagram. Basically, Instagram and Twitter are the two main places, aside from like the Gilded and other places. I'm going to be looking to join other servers, other Discords and Gildeds and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, you can just find me on Twitter.
There you go.
I'm pretty active. You hit me up, I'll follow back. You know what I mean? Following is a free thing that I can do to show my support to people. And
I do.
I freely give it out. Like, what does a number matter on Twitter? Like, one number is bigger than the other. Who cares? I follow people to stay connected. So you can find me there. Keep all my links there, at least for the time being. It seems a good place to start.
Right.
In the future, I'll get like a website and stuff. But
there you go.
Good plan.
My Instagram is going to be like the same as everything else. So Andy as Andy AF, but spelt out, or AC Pritchard. I'm consolidating my brand into that so that there's no more confusion. Because I noticed when I was jumping into chats as Andy AF, I kind of got the vibe they didn't know that I was actually AC Pritchard. And I kind of started to feel bad. So
I started piecing it together. Predominantly because everybody on the internet has multiple names. Yeah. And so I started piecing it all together, trying to figure it out. And I finally figured it out. So good for me.
Yeah. I mean,
when he hopped into my Discord, I was like, who is Andy as? And then I was like, oh, okay, it's AC. Got it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, right. It's like, wait a minute. Everybody does it to me. Like Danny Diego. Never seen that name before. Don't know who it is. Still don't know who it is.
Zorro.
I have no clue.
Yeah. See, guessing my name was actually the first story. It's a augmented reality story. So.
Hey.
Fuck, is it toxic? Are you toxic? Sorry. Because we haven't seen toxic in a while.
Royce has gone robot again.
Yeah.
I'm
It's the simulation dismantling as he starts realizing who it is. You know?
Yep.
It's got to be my internet. Then I apologize.
It's I'm gonna stand by the Gray Fox.
I hope it's toxic.
Were you right?
Got it.
You got it.
He says I got it. He says the jig is up. It's
Welcome back,
Dan
Toxic.
Diego or Toxic Crusader. Royce puts the moron in YouTube creator. I don't know how he does it, but it's a sight to behold. Like a kid putting a square peg in a round hole.
Just amazing.
Oh fuck. Oh, that has been screwed. Sorry. Okay. I was scrolling and I'm like, who is it? Who is it? I finally figured it out. I don't know why that was fucking with me so bad. It's like a mystery that I couldn't solve.
Well, mysteries are naturally intriguing for people. So.
Yep.
See. Cider Hype for $2 says stay gold, Iron Age Knights. So sorry, I just think of the second. Yeah. I think of the second Boondock Saints. Stay gold, Pony Boys, stay gold. Sorry, Boondock. We were talking Boondock Saints. It's you'll get it if you're into Boondock Saints. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, where can we find you and what are you doing?
The usual.
God damn it.
I have to do it every show just to piss Royce off. Now you can find me on Twitter, Mr. DP Riley. You can join my Discord server, Laureate, where a lot of us creatives have banded together to help each other succeed. And, I'm just plugging along, writing books, creating comics, helping people. That's what I do on whimsyland.org, as you can see in my title.
Also in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, networking in my gilded peak.
Yeah. S tier.
So, well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but Oh, Richard, what is your show? What you got going? How you do? Who you know?
Well, as always, you can find me at ironage.media. I've got a lot of different things going on. There's Anvil Magazine, which I talked about. I also do chill streams on Sunday nights where recently I've just been gaming. I have ordered some spaceship miniatures that I'm going to paint. So we'll get back to the more Bob Ross style painting of things here, where I just kind of
little missiles.
The Bob Ross energy fits you.
Right.
It does.
And,
it does.
The other
Somebody, for the love of God, buy him a Bob Ross wig for him to wear on stream, please.
you can buy it for me, but
You got to do it. You got to do it.
I do have a PO box. You can find it on the Gilded, but
I like the idea of happy little missiles.
yeah, that's
Every missile needs a friend.
I'd rather have happy little lasers. That's harkening back to my EVE Online days.
Anyway,
Anyway,
and they can't travel in groups.
yeah. Speaking of weapons, I do have a fun announcement, which is that a acquaintance of mine is putting together a convention in San Antonio next year in April. It's a gun culture convention, and I'm going to have a booth there. So there will definitely be an Iron Age Media presence, and you can the tickets are not on sale yet for consumers, but it's coming. So I will be having a booth there, and I may try and get a booth at another small venue before then, but that very well may be the first Iron Age Media booth. So just kind of start thinking about that, and if there is a book or a product or something like that that you want to try and sell through that. I would love to try and do kind of a pop-up Iron Age store for some of that. There's going to be some space limitations. I still haven't fully committed to booth size yet, but we may have some collaboration and be able to get a larger space. But
That'd be cool.
yeah, so
I
that's
might come out for that.
yeah. I think it'd be great. I'm trying to talk Jake into coming because there's going to be a lot of the gun tuber types, and I figure those people are surely looking for some film assistance as well. I mean, like they're not.
I
making-
would
they're not
love
making
to meet
short
Brandon Herrera.
Yeah, well, he's going to be there.
Fuck, that's awesome.
So yeah, and so
His wig is better than mine.
right. Yeah, but there'll be a lot of cool people there, and hopefully there'll be some cool Iron Age authors and whatnot as well. So I'm pretty sure that we can probably count on RH Snow at least popping in, since that's pretty close to her neck of the woods. So
There you go.
we will.
I'd have to go
just have
just
to
for
kind of
that.
play it by ear.
Right, there you go.
If it was a little closer to Minnesota, you could count me and the missus in. We each have our
So,
conceal and carry permits.
There
AC,
you go.
you could actually show up to the Iron Age barbecue that I want to throw.
Me?
Yeah, you're in the
You're only a couple hours away from me, buddy.
you're within
Where's
smoker
that?
distance.
Where you
I
at?
am in Northeast Iowa.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's a whole lot of straight line driving around
Yeah,
here.
no, dude, like you could be here, Kikomon could be here. The Hedge is possibly close enough. He'd have to make it a weekend trip. But we could pull off the Iron Age barbecue. I'm thinking about it. I really am.
Well, I would
But-
definitely try to be there. I didn't know you were that close.
Oh shit. The wig. The wig made things happen. It's there. It's that. Oh god. Okay.
Well.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here on Iron Age Nights number 38 with AC Pritchard. Guys, get over to that Amazon link, which is going down in the chat yet again, because you guys need to go and make sure you support this fantastic author, the creativity that they've got going on, and also share it. Oh yeah. Do that thing.
Mortal. Is
Andy, it was awesome having you on, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, you guys rock.
Dude, seriously, man. Thank you so much for being here.
And I forgot to mention anybody looking for me on Twitter is at AC Pritchard or at Andy as well. AC Pritchard is the name.
Andy,
You
yes.
guys are all amazing.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much, man. And I hope everybody goes and checks you out, dude. Seriously. There's a lot, man. I never seem to be I'm never dulled by the creativity. I'm always surprised by the amount of creativity that people have. Because you think, like, oh, I've heard creativity before. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, but I haven't heard your version of creativity. And it just keeps coming, and it's amazing, and I freaking love it.
Man, I could have rambled on that whole time. I'm not even-
Everybody's got a story to tell.
Yep. That ain't a lie.
100%.
Oh, it's going to be... Oh, thank you guys so much for being here, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here on Iron Age Nights number 38. I will see you all on Sunday for Sunday Coffee at 11 a.m. Central. It's going to be lit. And until next time, cheers, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.